Welcome to Curse Breakers, where we dig deep into the shadows of life to break through the negative patterns and limiting beliefs that hold you back. So buckle up, because on Curse Breakers, we're not just looking at the stars, we're rewriting your fate. And by the way, Curse Breakers is sponsored by Coventry Creations.
Welcome to Curse Breakers, everybody. I'm Storm Sestavani, and I'm here with the mistress of magic, the enchantress of everything metaphysical, the lovely Miss Jacki Smith. This is the astrology forecast, or our Curse Breakers forecast, for the week of September the 30th, 2024 through October the 6th. And this is a big week, Jacki, energetically, because we have a huge solar eclipse happening in the sign of Libra. Okay, which makes our VIP, our very important planet, the lady of the eclipse, Miss Venus.
Okay, so does this bode well, or are we going to be a little challenged?
Well, Venus is currently in detriment because she's in the sign of Scorpio. Okay. And when a planet is in detriment, okay, it means that her energy is not what she would like. Venus doesn't like being in Scorpio too much because she's rather intense. Okay. And I described it a couple of weeks ago when Venus moved into Scorpio, that she's kind of like a battle goddess. You know, she's not the laying on a couch eating bonbons and Godiva chocolate type of girl right now. Okay. So it's kind of like when a planet is in detriment, Jacki, it's kind of like going to a gathering with shoes that don't fit.
Got it.
So it's this very uncomfortable type of feeling.
Or having to wear heels all day.
Right. So this can be a little edgy. Okay. So kind of keep that in mind. But otherwise, solar eclipses, which there's going to be an eclipse show on its own, but it's happening during the week. So I just wanted to mention it briefly. It's kind of the reset button for relationships because it's in the sign of Libra. Okay. And it's also about bringing balance to certain areas of your life. So it's kind of like the spring cleaning of relationships, friendships, business relationships, messy connections in regards to business. It's time to kind of clear out the old and, prepare for the new.
Okay.
This eclipse, the reason why it can be a little bit challenging, Jacki, is that the eclipse squares obstacles. Squares equal obstacles.
Right.
Mars, and Mars likes to fight.
So Venus and Mars are fighting. Mom and Dad are fighting.
No. Mom and Dad are not fighting. Okay, you and your boyfriend are fighting.
Okay.
This has nothing to do with the moon and the sun. Okay. It's just going to be, there's a high propensity towards drama, and the eclipse happens on October the 2nd. Watch the news. That's all I got to say. Watch the news. It'll be the best reality show you ever seen.
All right. And we're going to do a special show just on the eclipse,
yes,
right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So we might run by it fast this time, but then the next show, we're going to dig in deep.
Right. And of course, especially an eclipse that's in square to Mars, I don't recommend anybody doing kind of like super aggressive magic. Instead, I tell them to kind of focus on cleansing and transformational type of magic. It's just easier.
And I just want to give a shout out to our listeners who, from episode 1, said they really missed the astrology, or they were struggling with the astrology, and they wanted us to talk about, actually, astrology is Storm's superpower, and then making it understandable for day to day is one of my superpowers. So together, we're unpacking what's going on energetically. I mean, sometimes we feel so victimized by the planets.
Right.
And people always want to know what's going on. I get emails all the time. What's going on? There's something weird happening right now. And then I have to go look up my information from Storm and say, yes, there is.
I get that all the time also, Jacki, and half of the time I have to tell them, no, nothing really is major going on. This is just your life sucks.
Right. So get out your pen and paper, take some notes, and then at the end of the show, we're going to recap what you should put in your calendar for every day.
Yes, your calendar breakdown. So
Yes. Okay.
stay focused for the end for that.
Okay. So what's happening on Monday, September 30th?
We have a couple things happening on Monday. The first is going to be Mars is going to trine Saturn. And this is kind of, facetiously, I wrote in the Astro Magic article for October, Jackie, that this is where you can be a responsible badass. Okay. It's kind of like the universe saying work hard, play smart. And there's a lot of energy with Mars. Okay. Mars comes with a lot of energy on its own, but it's got a side of discipline. So, it's like having a shot of espresso and immediately tackling your to-do list.
Crazy. That's a turbocharged day.
Yeah.
That's where you
Definitely turbocharged.
just like plan your stuff.
Well, it's the perfect time, I think, for people to look at things like long-term goals, and things that they need to do over an extended period of time and what they have to put the work into. Okay. Even though Mars is going to give you the energy, but Saturn says you have to do the work. It's not
Okay, so
Jupiter, it's Saturn.
all right, I see that. So I see with Saturn, that's where you want to like spend all this energy into putting together a really detailed plan. Make
Right.
your project sing and then start on it, but don't just start randomly.
Right.
Create the
Absolutely.
foundation. You're gonna have the energy to create the foundation because sometimes you're like, I just want to do it. I don't want to plan it.
Right.
But this is you're gonna have that your turbocharged energy to plan. Got it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So this is, and it's also about Mars. Mars is really doing what it is that you need to do to further yourself. Okay, I often call him the henchman of the sun because he's the one that goes out and fights for the sun and what the sun wants.
Okay.
And right now the sun is in Libra. Okay, so it's going to be about balance and harmony and strategy and planning. And Mars is about doing what it is that you need to achieve the results that you want to achieve. With it being in trine to Saturn, Jackie, Saturn is the work. Doing what it is that you need to do to receive the results that you want to receive by doing the work.
Okay. And then the sun also conjoins Mercury.
Right. And this is,
Same day, Monday. There's a lot
yes,
going on. You're going to be
yes.
so like yeah, it's going to
The
happen.
sun being conjunct Mercury it's the halfway spot between Mercury going direct and Mercury going retrograde again. Okay. Now, when Mercury goes to retrograde, the sun is going to conjoin Mercury again, and that's the halfway point. So, whenever you see sun conjunct Mercury or sun conjoined to Mercury, it means halfway point. Okay.
Okay.
Always. Okay. And it's also because it's that halfway point, Jackie, it's where the energy is the greatest. Okay. So when the sun and Mercury kind of, have a dinner date in the sky, your brain gets turbocharged. So there's a lot of ideas, a lot of communication combined with all that Mars Saturn energy. Okay. So basically, I think that it is a point also in which you can explore ideas and you can explore ideas with others, but also realize that other people have ideas also. So listen a little.
I see it could potentially be a very chatty day where
Right.
because if the sun and Mercury are conjunct, that means you are empowered to speak your truth.
Right.
And okay, so we're the curse breakers. So on Monday, with the energy we have at hand, I could see if someone has a really hard time speaking their truth,
Mm-hmm.
um, and getting clarity on where they want to go,
Mm-hmm.
this is a day to break that curse.
Definitely. And
To
it's
real, yeah,
also if you're having problems being assertive or you're having problems getting achieving your agenda and your goals, the Mars candle from the Astro Magic line I think is good also.
yeah. This will break that curse of like people pleasing. Right,
Yeah, sometimes you just have to IDGAF.
right. And then the other thing, because the sun is conjunct Mercury, truth and justice. And
Right.
I like that because the sun and Mercury in Libra, you can potentially talk over everybody else, forgetting that other people are
Mhm.
just as powered up as you are with their ideas.
Right. Um, Then on Tuesday, Jackie, the moon still is in Virgo. It went to Virgo on Sunday. It's still in Virgo on Tuesday. So it's your last chance to get that desk cleaned up.
Take
It's your
care of
last
health.
chance to
Yeah.
focus on your health. Meal prep, work on your diet, work on getting things organized in your life. You may want to swap out some pizza for a salad. It may be about better choices and decisions, basically, about your life and looking at things in more of a practical sort of way. And
So
I always recommend stability for that.
between Monday and Tuesday, I'm seeing a theme of being really energized to power up and organize your long term goals.
Right,
I like this. Going from chaos to control.
right,
I
right.
like
And then
this.
a lot of this week is going to be moon days, Jackie, in which the only thing that's going on is the moon. So
Okay.
people be prepared for that. This will be a very fast episode, probably.
I like it. So on Tuesday, if you needed
Hmm.
help with getting organized and digging in stability,
Hmm.
grab that
Yeah.
stability candle or use do things to create stability or groundedness in your life. And so what curse would you think could be broken with this energy?
I think that the curse of indecision.
I like that. Because you have 2 days in a row of just that own your own personal empowerment and clarity.
Right. And this is about, and especially when we move in, actually, Jackie, I would say that the theme for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday is
Oh,
about getting clear about what it is that you want, getting organized. Okay. And then as the moon moves into Libra, which that's all it's going to do on Wednesday and Thursday. Okay.
okay.
It's about the curse of indecision. It's about, uh, Libra can often, get caught up in what everybody else thinks and what's going on with everybody else and partnerships because it is the sign of relationships. So it's about the other. Okay. And oftentimes we can get other people's thoughts in our head and, it's time to look at things in more of a diplomatic sort of way and also take into consideration what it is that you want and need.
I like that. This is what a blessing of energy for this because I can see Wednesday being the day where when you need to have the deep conversation. I'm not going to say the hard conversation, but the deep conversation with your partner, spouse, child, friend. So those people that are very important in your life and instrumental in the your well being.
Hmm.
This is a great day to have maybe just a loving conversation and get some clarity on that.
And personally, it's also time in which you should weigh all of your options.
Oh, tell me about that.
Well, we all have choices and decisions that we have to make in regards to our life. Okay. And sometimes when the moon is in Libra, I will sit down and just with a piece of paper look at all of my particular options that I have in regards to how I'm going to do something or how I'm going to, uh, display things. One of the things, for example, just personally, I'm considering doing a Substack, and it's about looking at all of the particular options in regards to how do I want that to look at. Do I want to focus on day to day astrology? Do I want to focus on psychological astrology? Do I want to focus on mundane astrology, which would be political based astrology, which I probably won't do, by the way. But it's looking at all of those options and all of the particular areas of astrology that I'm knowledgeable and adept about, Jackie, and then, or even maybe do an amalgamation of psychological, astro magic, personal astrology, all of these things, but deciding which direction to go in without getting too lost in indecision, because
I
sometimes
love
if you
this.
have 40,000 choices in front of you, you'll make no choice.
Well, think
But
about
remember,
this.
not making a choice is a choice.
Right. So think about this build.
Hmm.
Monday, you've got that turbocharged energy to plan and you can understand your own truth and can speak it. Speaking it into your own life, which is the most important thing. Then on Tuesday, you have the moon in Virgo, which is organizing for the long-term goals. And then on Wednesday, the moon moves into Libra, so you can weigh all of the options that you just put on the piece of paper the last 2 days.
And it gets even a larger boost, Jackie, because also the solar eclipse occurs on that day in Libra as well.
Okay. Because so Wednesday and Thursday
Hmm.
are the moon in Libra, so you just spend those days like thinking about what your options are. And I think more options will probably pop up at that point
Right.
too. And then
Absolutely.
the on the 3rd is the solar eclipse.
No, the
Okay.
second
So
is the solar eclipse. The third, the moon is just still in Libra.
oh, the 2nd is the solar eclipse. Why
Right.
did I write down the 3rd? Apparently the moon is not in Virgo for me to mind the details today. So, okay, I get it. I get it. So, and we'll dig deeper on the
The
well, tell
eclipse
us
in
a
a
little bit
future little
about the
episode.
solar eclipse and how it's going to affect us on Wednesday.
Um, the solar eclipse in Libra is, like I said earlier, it's kind of like the cosmic spring cleaning of your relationship life. And I use the word relationship broadly because it can be love relationships, it can be your relationship with your business partners, it can be what is your relationship with your competitors, because Libra also is open enemies. um
Oh,
a lot of people don't know that. So it can be competitors. It can be, that shrew that gives you shade at every magical convention. How are you going to deal with her? Um, uh, it's also a point in which, difficult conversations can often come up when the moon is in Libra, because everybody else is doing the same thing. They're also looking at their relationships. And like I said, also that there's also the square to Mars, and Mars can create a lot of drama. Okay. So there may be difficult conversations. Intensity may come into the picture. And I recommend people, that's why I always recommend during eclipse energy for people to stay calm, channel their inner diplomat, and let uh, the harmonious side of Venus guide you rather than the feisty side.
okay. All right. Well, we're going to dig into that deeper next
Yes.
show. So it happens on Friday.
No, that happens on Wednesday.
No, no. So Wednesday and Thursday,
Yes.
we've
Moon
got
in
that
Libra.
moon in
Yes.
Libra, and then we're going to move into Friday.
Friday. Yes. Venus in Scorpio trine Saturn in Pisces.
Okay.
Um, it's about finding the balance between romance and responsibility. In relationships, which Venus has an enormous amount to do with, Jackie, pop culture has really done a spectacular job in regards to um, building up all of the good, loving, feeling side of romance. Okay. I think that we do high romance pretty well as a culture.
I would
Um,
agree.
I think what we don't do well as a culture is, yeah, it's good to have high romance, but you also have responsibilities in that damn relationship, also. Okay. And if you're going to take on the responsibility of relationship, that also means three things. Okay. Number one, okay, you have to take somebody else's wants and needs into consideration also. Okay. So your partner's wants and needs. You have to show up and participate. Okay. And you're now obligated. Okay. And I think that Saturn is kind of emphasizing that responsibility side. Venus also, Jackie, has to do with money. So this is a great time to look at your financial situation and make any form of productive adjustments as a result of that. You may be spending too much time on lattes. You may want to break that down a little bit. Um, it's time to make better financial decisions. Where could you be making better financial decisions and being a proper steward of your resources?
Okay. You know what? That's going to be an interesting day. Friday's going to be interesting coming off of Wednesday and then Thursday.
Right.
So I can see if, we're on Wednesday, the 2nd, you've got that cosmic spring cleaning of relationships and those
Hmm.
difficult conversations that are going to happen Wednesday and then also on Thursday because the moon is in Libra. Um, And then Friday it moves into, all right, now this relationship is serious. So the ones you keep, you're
Hmm.
going to shore up the foundation of them.
Right. And it's also realizing that you can have everything that you want out of your life. There's just a responsibility that's attached to it. And I think everybody wants for example, I chose the candle for this, everything and then some, from the Wicked Witch Mojo line. I, we do good with we want everything. We want the money, we want the rings, we want the
Mhm.
clothes, we want the car, we want the McMansion, we want the job. We don't want the responsibility.
Right. And this is the responsibility coming smack in your
Right.
face.
Right.
And Venus is in Scorpio. So what is that? I mean, she's not happy. She's in her
She's
detriment
not
in
happy.
Scorpio.
Venus doesn't want to do responsibility, really. She wants the fun. She wants the high romance. She wants the finances. Venus was not a goddess that liked to do work. Okay.
So this is like a reluctant responsibility of Fridays, like that reluctant, like I've got it time to clean the gutters to make sure I don't, blah blah blah.
It's a good thing that it's a trine and not a square. A square would mean that people would try to fight against that responsibility. It is the realization that there's certain things that you're obligated to do. Okay. A word that goes along with relationships is obligation. And I think that a lot of people don't necessarily realize that.
Hmm.
It
So
is
and it's also
when you make the choice to be in a relationship, you're now obligated.
so this might be fulfilling those obligations of the relationship that
Right.
are assumed. Like this might be a great day to um, communicate with acts of service to your spouse.
Hmm.
That shows helps you show up for them. It helps take their needs and wants into consideration. So this is a
Right.
great day for acts of service.
Absolutely.
And then Saturday
Saturday is going to be an intense day because the moon is going to be in Scorpio, which is
with
going to bring up
Venus.
um, it's going to bring up a lot of emotions. People often have to have a lot of heart to heart chats when that's going on to get ready to transform things. It's kind of like a cocoon turning into a butterfly type of energy.
I'm just writing all that down so I was slow. Like, oh yeah, this is going to be wow. This is a lot of okay. You got your planning in the beginning, and you're organizing, and then you're balancing it and seeing what's weighing all of your options. And then once you weigh all your options, you go, oh, now I'm responsible for it. And then how do I feel about that responsibility? Taking that deep dive and saying, oh, this triggers this, this triggers this. Do I really want to do it? I mean, this is another. If you work the week, it can be another transformative week.
Absolutely, but in a more of a positive way than before.
Yes, yeah. So, but what a week of uncovering. It's almost like you have the um gift if you do the work this week of uncovering some more superpowers, like turbocharging your future plans, because you're going to cut away the things that you don't really that maybe were shoulds. You wrote down some shoulds versus the things that you're really excited about.
I definitely think so. And that moon in Scorpio is also going to bring a lot of stuff into the future that helps you to dig deeper. Okay. A lot of times, when the moon goes into Scorpio, Jackie, the tough stuff rises to the surface. The stuff that we don't want to think about rises to the surface. And then I think that we can make better decisions once it's risen than we've made in the past. Okay. So notice on that day that that's kind of what's going on, because on Sunday is a very difficult day. I mean, so I think that avoiding your emotions and avoiding your feelings is not going to be a good way to use that particular energy. It's better for you to clear them because it will help mitigate the difficulty that occurs on Sunday.
Okay. So I feel like rather than each day being a bit of a curse breaker, this week has a flow of energy that can be a curse breaker. So tell us
Yeah.
about Sunday and then let's assess this.
Okay. Sunday is Mercury in Libra in square to Mars in Cancer. And this is basically an extremely discordant type of energy. People are going to argue, people are going to bicker, they're going to be reactive, their emotions are going to be on edge. Everything is going to be hyper, hyper, hyper and supercharged because Mars would just much rather punch you in the face than, Mars is not about diplomacy. Mars is about punch you in your face because I want you. I want this. Okay. So that highly reactive type of energy is going to be very prevalent throughout the day.
Okay. Okay. So, what is if we were to look at this whole week as being an opportunity to break some curses?
Mm-hmm.
What would you give it if we look at this whole week? What's your opinion on that, Storm?
I would tell people the key to this whole week, I think, Jackie, has to do with Venus. Okay. And although that things are not comfortable because Venus doesn't like being in the sign of Scorpio, there's certain things that you need to do to facilitate your life. There's certain responsibilities that you need to take to keep things kind of flowing readily. And I think that it's kind of being cognizant of not only your responsibility to others, but also your responsibility to yourself and finding some form of balance to keep that energy harmonized. So, rather than people just being highly reactive, which the energy of this week is very reactive with the solar eclipse and that Mercury in square to Mars. It's kind of before you make an action, ask yourself, is this really what I want to do? Am I all in?
This also, with everything you said, reminds me of the really difficult self care, the changing your eating plan,
Right.
changing your exercise, your activity plan, um, whatever it is that you have been avoiding taking responsibility for in your own life, which is your health, um, your home, your habits, whatever it is. This is the week to start addressing them
Absolutely.
and you start planning them, looking at them, and not just saying, okay, here's my food plan for the week or here's my workout plan for the week, saying, okay, if I make this a future goal, how will I react to it? What else do I need? What conversations do I need to have with people? And how do I fit it in my life? So this is what's the word I'm looking for? The uh when someone has to do something all the time, like the stick to itiveness. So, and really addressing why you wouldn't want to stick to it.
Right.
Yeah. Doing it over and over and over again. So this is, yeah. So, but, and so kind of going back, there's a lot of balance needed this week. So
Absolutely.
Wednesday and Thursday, journal prompt or pull in the stones you need to create inner balance,
Right.
which is also a candle, by the way.
Right. And for Sunday, I had picked emotional balance anyways. Okay.
Right.
Because I think that there is a tendency for us to get into our emotions and react rather than think things out, which I
Yes.
think is highly important
That is the
with this.
perfect energy for that. And so, by the way, if this is starting to happen, get some basil. Basil is
Oh,
great for communication. Even if you have, like, if you have a basil plant, put it in the room or make something with basil, or even just put some fresh basil out. That is helps with cooperative communication versus um, communication blowing up.
right.
Another thing that helps with, I think, would help with Sunday is having bowls of cool, clear water in the room if things start to get heated up.
Hmm.
As things get heated up, you go dump that water and put another cool, clear bowl of water
They may
there.
be doing that every 15 minutes, girl.
Right?
I
It
mean,
does, or walk that bowl or bucket of water through your home,
yeah.
pan of water through your home after an argument. It cools everything down brilliantly. It works so well.
Oh,
So I love.
good.
So hey, let's recap what we're going to put on our calendar for each day.
Sure.
So, what do you want us to write down for Monday?
On Monday, focus on long-term goals and discipline.
Okay. Tuesday
It's time to get organized, focus on details, improve your health habits.
and organize those long-term goals.
Right.
Wednesday.
Wednesday and Thursday both go together
Okay.
because the fact that the moon is going to be in Libra on both days. Okay. It's focusing on balance and harmony and decision making.
Okay. Time to make some look at the options.
Right.
Friday.
Friday is focus on long-term investments in both relationships and financial planning.
Oh, I like that. Saturday.
Um, declutter emotional baggage. Have deep conversations if you need to. Also, the other thing is focus on financial healing. Okay, a lot of people need a lot of financial healing right now, and how can you make that possible?
Yeah, financial healing means taking a look at all those credit cards, all that debt, and
Right.
saying, how do I pay this off?
Right.
And then Sunday,
Think before
don't
you
argue.
speak.
What'd you say? Think before
Think
you
before you
speak.
speak. Yes,
Yeah.
channel frustration. A positive way I think, Jackie, that maybe somebody may want to do is put in their calendar: if frustrated, go for a walk. If frustrated, go to the gym. Finding some form of physical or constructive way to deal with all of that Martian energy is probably a more productive way of working with it.
I love that. So even though it's a big week, big energy, it's not as I mean, it doesn't feel as complicated as the last weeks we've done.
Actually, I think that this is much more complicated than the prior week. Jackie, is the energy. There's only one difficult day the whole week. Okay, which is last week when Mercury opposed Neptune, which had to do with the fogginess of and potential towards miscommunication. Okay, but the other days was more about thinking outside of the box and solving deep problems. This energy, especially on Sunday, is extremely difficult. A lot of I'll be doing a lot of readings the following Monday, I'm sure.
So maybe for me, that's not complicated. It's just be prepared.
Right.
Be prepared. You're gonna be, it's not a roller coaster. It's going to be a build. Everything makes sense. Like you said, astrology is instructions.
And I think that the takeaway that you can get from that, Jackie, is that you uh, Venus energy may be easier for you to deal with than Mercury energy.
Okay. Venus, really, when I focus on Venus energy, she really appreciates it. I mean, it brings
Yeah.
lots of positive growth for me when I
Well,
focus on
you
that
are that
Venus
bitch,
energy.
Jackie. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Well, there we go. We all have our things.
Yeah, we all have our things, you know.
All right.
um,
Well, what else is there? Any other advice for us for this coming up week of September 30th through October 6th?
I would just pay attention to what's going on in regards to your life on the second on during the solar eclipse, because that's going to be kind of a theme that bleeds over the next 6 months. So the theme from the lunar eclipse and solar eclipse will be kind of themes that kind of keep coming back over the next 6 months or so. So just kind of pay attention to what's happening on those particular days. Okay.
Okay.
Because the energy of what's happening in regards to your personal life on those days, even if it does not, even if it seems eventless, it's not going to be. It's going to keep coming up.
Got it. Got it. All right. Well, now we're going to dig into in our next show all of the stuff
Yeah.
on the solar eclipse.
Yes, we'll be doing a little mini episode on the solar eclipse, so make sure that you guys tune in for that. Make sure that you visit our website at www.thecursebreakers.com. Again, that's www.thecursebreakers.com. And this show, of course, is sponsored by Coventry Creations, which is where you can find Jackie. And where else can they find you?
Oh, you can find me on coventrycreations.com. There's a way to communicate with us through there. And I'm on all the socials at Coventry Candles or Coventry Creations. That's way easier to find than Jacki Smith. There's a lot of us.
Yeah, there's about 16,000 Jacki Smiths. There's only one Storm Sestavani, though, by the way. You can find me at Storm Sestavani pretty much everywhere except Facebook. And on Facebook, I'm facebook.com/Astro Gossip, because astrology is what I like to talk about. Jackie, between now and when they hear from us again, what do they need to do?
They need to keep it magic.
Speak life, everybody. We'll speak to you soon.